If you made it to part 3, cheers. Well done. If you're just finding this video, this is part 3 of a very, very long chat. It went for well over an hour, so I had to break it up. I couldn't put it up in one video. That was just way too long. So I skipped back a few seconds from the end of the last one to sort of keep the thought cohesive as it goes forward from here. So on to part 3. Good luck. So that's not good. I have to exercise some self-control. Not in a bad way, not in a you suck kind of way, but just in a grown-up way. Mid-40s, and I need to learn some self-control, damn it. In the moments I can, and even when I can't, mitigate that. And that's where I think I'm finding it better in the last 5-6 weeks, however long it's been, is I've accepted that I have PMDD. I've accepted that I'm diabetic. I've accepted that I have MS. I've accepted that I have to nap. I have to exercise like a complete newbie, like someone who's never lifted weights in their life, who's never walked 10k, never done anything like that, never done swimming, done all the athletic activities I've ever done, all the competitive sports I've played. It's like I'm starting from scratch. I'm no different than someone who's sat on their couch their whole life. No blame or shame attached to it at all. It's just I am now part of that category. I'm not a sports person, even though my brain still thinks I'm a sports person. I'm not. Physically, I am not. I am someone with a disability and chronic conditions who is morbidly obese, and I have to exercise accordingly. But recognizing that has been a big thing for me, because it's allowed me to make the progress I am now making. I'm enjoying it again. I want to be ahead of where I am, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm seeing the progress, the forward momentum, and I'm reminding myself to be happy with that, with what I can do right now. Living in the moment. Again, all those years of therapy are starting to pay off. Now that I can actually apply it without that diet mentality around it, to actually mean living in the moment. Each moment. Some days I'm white knuckling it and just breathing into the abyss, or screaming into the abyss inside my head. But that's what I've got. That's what I need to deal with, what I need to live with. It's who I am. If I can accept my husband for his ADHD and who he is and how his quirks are, I'm married to a foreigner. It's like we're different. We're different in so many ways. Cultural difference still. We've been married 20 years, and there's still cultural differences that pop up occasionally. Family culture differences, country culture differences, food culture differences. So if I can accept him and accept my daughter, all her quirks and her teenageness at the moment, I can accept myself for my toddler tantrums, for my need to exercise slowly and cautiously. I can celebrate my achievements without the caveat of, oh, it's not as good as it used to be. Oh, I'll be better one day. That robbed me of the joy in the moment. And part of what my daughter has taught me inadvertently is being her mother has taught me how to talk kindly to myself. Because some of the things I would say to myself inside my own head many times across the day were horrible. And then one day I thought of how I'd feel if someone else said them to my daughter. If I said them to my daughter, which I never would. And if I would never do that, why would I say them to myself? And that, for me, was a defining moment. So now, like when that diet thought happened, I caught myself because those words are foreign now. They're saying those words like that is foreign to me. I don't think of fats and things like that. It's not. There's no shame attached to them, but inadvertently sometimes it slips out like that, and I catch myself, or my daughter will catch me, or my husband will catch me, because it's not normal in our house now. That kind of talk is not normal. It's abnormal. It's weird. It's not accepted. It's not acceptable. It's no less acceptable than racism or bigotry or anything else. It's unacceptable to demonize food, because food is food. It's sustenance. It's what we need to live. Without it, we're dead. You know? So, yeah, this is a process. This isn't calories in, calories out, like all those influencers try to tell us, what the diet industry tries to tell us. There's so much more. And that's what I have to remind myself. It's going good at the moment. I've been in the up part of my cycle, and that's always easier. And before, this is where I'll be going. I'll be chugging along, feeling great. That's what the diet thought reminded me of. I think that's part of why it's also popped up. Other than, feeling preempting the prejudgment that's going to come, probably, if anyone watches this and has a negative comment. It's that each month it's so hard, because I start to feel really good. The MS aside, sleep apnea aside, diabetes aside, this is to deal strictly with the PMDD. It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating, because my own body betrays me. Month after month after month, for decades. And I blamed my lack of willpower. I blamed myself. I have a soul wound from that, aided and abetted by the diet industry that helped hand me the blades to stab myself with, I have a deep soul wound, and I'm still healing about that. And it's taking time. It's taking time and energy. And wow, I just lost my track of thought. See, my brain's doing it. Sometimes it protects me. It's like, that's too deep. Well, let's not deal with that right now. I'll watch this back later and probably, again, process some of this some more later on my own, so I could just cry till I snot, sort of thing. Just go through half a box of tissues or whatever. Because saying those words out loud, that was hard. Because that is a deep soul wound. That is talking to myself that way for so long. Because of the PMDD, because I didn't know. So I blame and the shame and the guilt. And society told me that I was a bad person because I was fat, because I couldn't control what went in my mouth. I just didn't have enough willpower. No. F you. F all of you who think that. Because it's not simple. It's not easy. Not for everyone. There are those of us who struggle so hard to understand why we are the way we are. We don't end up like this because we're frivolous or lazy, or there's often so many factors behind weight gain, especially this kind of weight gain when you're this big. I'm not talking about people who have family culture and literally have no knowledge. That's a different kettle of fish, because that is pure ignorance. They don't have the knowledge to eat healthily. They weren't taught to eat that way. They don't understand about nutrition, about movement, about gentle movement, about loving yourself. I'm not talking about people who cannot afford nutritious food, either because they're time poor or money poor. Because I know poverty affects nutrition. I'm not trying to speak from a place of privilege here. I understand that not everyone can again, I understand that not everyone has the ability to even purchase food. Food poverty is a thing. Time poverty is a thing. Food deserts are a thing. You know, I'm strictly speaking from my point of view and my anger at the diet industry that insists that everyone has the ability, if they just try hard enough, to follow their rules and their ways of being. But if it worked, it wouldn't be such a billion-dollar industry. That's what upsets me so much. Do it this way. Do it this thing. Yeah, but if you needed it, why would it be such a big thing? It's like disposable. Anyway, no, stop ranting. Stop ranting. Take a breath. I acknowledge that I'm upset, that I'm angry. It's a deep, deep soul. This is stuff I can do off camera. You all get that I'm upset, that I'm angry about a lot of that stuff. I'm working through it. I don't need to go on a rant on the internet about it. But saying no, apply it to myself. The soul wound. It is a deep soul wound. Saying those words out loud. It is a deep soul wound I have to work on mending. I've been slowly working on it for 15 years or more. But as you just heard, there is more work to do. For myself and for others. And that's, I remembered what I was talking about before. Before I hung up the phone, before I stopped recording before. No, it's gone again. I celebrated too soon. Soul wound, no. Inspiration. I mentioned all the vloggers that I watch. Well, not all of them, but a good portion of them, the ones that have helped me a lot. How the competitive eating, inspiration from that, the competitive eaters helped me in lots of different ways until I didn't need them anymore. And I take bits and pieces from different influencers and different things and different vloggers and magazines and books and people in my life, and I've been out there looking and trying to find someone like me, someone who struggles with food. Lots of people out there like that. People who have MS, they're out there. Not a lot of them are struggling with food like I do. People with PMD, there's stuff out there, but it's more clinical stuff, how to help with stuff, not the day-to-day realities of trying to lose weight with it. And I thought about it for months and months and months. Yeah, I remembered. I thought about it for months and months and months and talked it through with my daughter and talked it through with myself on walks and talked. And I was worried of what if people I used to know in my past would find me, or what if family members found me, or what if mean people said mean things. Well, and I realised I was afraid. I was afraid to try something new. It's just completely new for me, a brand new skill. I don't like public speaking. I don't like being on camera. I'm just shy. Off camera I'm fine, but on camera, no. With my cognitive stuff from COVID and MS, I worried that I wouldn't be able to formulate my thoughts enough. Like, as you've just seen, I tried and forgot, remembered, forgot a couple of times. I worried that it would be too time consuming, that I wouldn't have the energy to do this, that I'd fail, that it wouldn't help me at all. It'd be something else I've tried and it wouldn't help. But I realised it's something that I needed. Maybe someday someone else will need it too. Someone else who's out there like me looking for help, or just understanding. Not even help, just understanding from someone else who's going through a similar thing. I'm sure there are people out there who have MS, who have PMD, who are overweight and have all the same conditions I have, who are struggling just as well. And even if no one else ever watches this, it doesn't matter. It's helping me. I couldn't let my fear hold me back anymore, because I needed it. I needed to talk like this. I needed to be able to chat. Thinking it in my own head wasn't enough anymore. I tried helplines, they weren't enough. They said, you need more help than we can give you. And it was frustrating me. I have to wait. It was, anyone who has used free helplines, they know they're great, but they're not for everyone. And my needs also weren't. I felt there were other people who needed them more than I did, who needed more help than I did. I just needed to talk. I needed to articulate what I'm feeling, like a support group of one. It's sort of like, again, all the Overeaters Anonymous and things, they don't suit me. They're mostly too far away. There aren't many of them around anymore. Everything's online. Everything's online these days. Zoom or MyFitnessPal or whatever they are. You all know, you've all come across them. All support groups are there. And I've tried all of those too. I've tried all of that. And I've been paid for Zoom for a while. And it was, they promise all this stuff and it's not, no. It's not for people like me. I can't afford to pay for any online coaching or anything. So again, that's out. Can't go to the gym. What I needed was to talk and sort through my stuff and have a record of how I'm feeling and what I'm working through for my own benefit. I tried recording it for myself for a few weeks, but that didn't work either, because then I could cheat the system. There was no accountability, it was no imagined accountability, even if no one ever watches any of these, right? I imagine that there is an audience there. I talk as though there is an audience there, and thus accountability. It's like a mind trick I'm playing on myself. Talking it through with someone who might understand or might need this themselves, who might just need someone who can talk about what it feels like to struggle with this up and down and up and down. The frustration and the joys that come with living with this stuff. So yeah, this is a long one today. I don't know if I'm even going to put any of this up. But I felt the need to talk, because I can only talk to my family so much. And I need to talk more than they can listen. And again, even if no one else is listening, I don't care, because I need to do this for me. And it's helping. It is helping so much. Just the act of having to pick up the camera and go for a walk, to sit here and talk to the camera, is helping. Because I don't feel like I'm talking to myself anymore. I imagine there might be someone out there listening, and it helps. I talked for over half an hour on that walk the other day, and I had several different epiphanies just because I was talking rather than thinking. I don't know what the biomechanics of that is, but the act of talking helps me think differently, and talking to someone else, even if no one's there, imagining that is helping. It's a different way of talking, like before, to tie it back to the eating before, when I stopped filming and then proceeded to spill the capsicum soup the other day down my white and black hoodie. I spilled it because I was no longer eating in front of the camera. Even though logically there's no one there, it's just a camera, right? The act of eating on film made my behaviour different. It made me think differently, made me act differently. And humans do that. When they know they're being observed, they will behave differently. They will behave in socially acceptable manners, whatever I'm trying to say, in ways their behaviour is different. Just subtle ways sometimes. But the act of being observed does change the behaviour. And I'm hoping this talking will help, and it has been helping. That was my thoughts behind it. Don't let this fear hold me back anymore. Give it a try. Just give it a try. I tried filming without putting it up on YouTube. I tried putting up as private videos. I did that before too, a couple of years ago. Again, didn't help. It was no different than just talking to the wall, thinking in my head. It wasn't the right thing for me. This is helping. And I realised that if it's helping me, there might be someone else out there like me, be the content that I was looking for, you know, the rambling long vlogs like this, the one who's learning, just put myself out there, be who I am and put myself out there, imperfections and all, struggles and all, successes and everything, right? It's me, because that's what those other vloggers do. Not the highly curated ones who stick to a script and have to pump out the content. I'm not talking about those ones that I feel sad for because it's go. They have to pump it out. But if they love that, that's good for them. Whatever works for them is fine. But my content is for someone like me. Those other vloggers aren't the same as me, but I relate to them because they're real. They are who they are. They just put who they are out on the internet. And I found them. They've inspired me. Two of them actually inspired me to do this. Because it's their realness, it's their real warts and all approach. Hard stuff and all. Rambling conversations like this that get somewhere eventually, and they don't always get somewhere. But that made me realise that they're doing exactly what I'm doing. They're just putting themselves out there to help themselves, possibly help others, but to help themselves. They have a creative need to do this, and it helps them in their weight loss journey. And that's what I realised I needed. Everything else I was doing wasn't working. I needed something. I needed some form of accountability, even if it was imagined accountability. I needed to talk things through. I'm a talker. I need to talk. I talk with my hands. You've all seen it. I just talk and I talk and I talk. And I couldn't talk to my family anymore at them as much as I needed to. Because I'm fitter now. We're doing other things. We're doing more enjoyable things. I'm off the couch and we're doing stuff. We're walking. I'm hoping to go bike riding eventually if I can get my carbs sorted out. My time with them is different now. And I have this other outlet. It's like verbal journaling, I guess. But it's now also a hobby. It's me time. I'm learning a skill. And I may end up using it in a job. It's another skill I can put on my resume, that I can use these editing programs, that I can do this. It's a new skill I've learned. I may not be good at it, but it's a skill I have. I can do that. It opens up different opportunities for me. I may never be great at it, but it doesn't matter. I'm learning. I'm learning something new for the first time in a long time, and it feels so good. And it's fun. It fulfills that creative itch that I have. I'm a writer. I love to write. But especially with COVID and with my MS brain, that frustrates me now. And with all the time stuff, all the mental energy I'm doing elsewhere, I don't have the energy to do that. So I can't create the way I used to create. And I was frustrated with no creative outlet. I felt sad and awful, and it took me a long time to realise I needed a creative outlet. When my daughter was little, it was easy because we'd colour and we'd create things with her. That filled that niche. But now she's older and doesn't need that from me anymore. Again, like I've referenced in other videos, I'm having to learn how to be me again. To fill my life now that she doesn't need me as much as she did before. I've loved every minute of being her mum, But now she's growing up. She's not a young child anymore. And I need to be not the parent of a young child anymore. I need to find my own. Eventually she's going to grow up and move out. You know, she'll be out on her own. What do I do then? What do I do then? Then it's too late to start doing that. Now I'm in transition. I'm in transition from stay-at-home mum of young child. Now I am mum of teenage child. But who now has time to think about myself and what I want to do and what I want to be. And I don't want to be in this weight loss cycle for I've done that for 20 years. 30 years? 30. Oh, shit. 30 years. I've done this for 30 years. That's half a lifetime. It's more than half of my life. Sorry, that's again, that soul wound is just opened up and gone. You've been doing this for 30 years. 30 years of my life. It's beyond time to deal with it all, to learn how to live my life. Just live my life. And this is part of it. I need this now to move on, to be able to move through this and out the other side. Because I can't keep staying on this couch anymore. As you see, I do record a lot here, but that's because I'm tired, especially now that I'm exercising a lot more. Those who know about the spoon theory, you know about it. Those who don't, it just deals with having enough energy throughout the day, and you have to allocate what you got, right? I'm choosing to allocate more of my energy towards myself now. And this vlogging is part of that. It's a hobby that I now have. It's an interest I have. I've admired other people's for years and thought, I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. That's too new. That's too scary. I've looked at downloaded programs before and gone, oh my God. I've seen my husband do audio editing before, and it was just, my brain couldn't cope with what it was seeing on the screen. It was too much, too scary. But why let that hold me back? I'm learning as I go. I don't care if it's clunky and awkward, as I've said in the other video. Clunky and awkward. That's me sometimes. All the time. But that's learning. I can't encourage my daughter to learn and to make mistakes and to try again if I'm not willing to apply that advice to myself. So here I am, learning, enjoying the learning, frustrated by the learning, but doing. Doing poorly a lot of the time, but doing. And it feels good. It feels so good to be learning something again. Something completely brand new that I've never even tried before. And my husband said he was proud of me. That really, I told him about the vlogging. Finally, I hadn't told him. I hadn't told him. I was so shy and so embarrassed. I don't know why. I just was. I've been doing it for about 5-6 weeks before I told him. I only told him last week. And I was determined not to ask him for help either. I was determined to try and learn this as much as I can on my own. Because I want it to be about me and my learning. To say I did it, you know. I asked him a question yesterday about how to do something, and we both worked it through the program and did it together, and we both realised that I had done everything right and it just wasn't working. For some reason the program doesn't do that. There's a glitch in their system. I'm going to let them know about it, and it doesn't work properly. So even that felt good. I wasn't doing anything wrong. It literally couldn't do what it said it would do. So that felt good. I am learning, and it feels so good. I love to learn. I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy that I'm finding a way through this. For so long I've felt trapped on this couch, trapped in my anxiety, trapped in that vicious cycle I didn't know was happening for a reason. Because I kept saying for years, why can I manage this for 2 weeks and then it all falls apart? And it was like a switch flipped. I could go back to doing that again. And I felt so stupid, so helpless and useless. But I didn't know what I didn't know. You know? It just feels so good to not be in that place anymore. I know my MS is going to progress. I know, but I don't know how it's going to progress. I have injections, multiple injections in a week to help deal with that. That was a whole learning process too. But I learned that. I've been doing that for a long time now. And if I can learn to tolerate that, I can, and the finger pricks from the diabetes and the medication, and I can learn to use a video editing program. If I can persevere through that, if I can persevere through nearly dying, giving birth to my daughter, if I can move to a foreign country to get married, if I can travel in the aftermath of 9/11, I can travel through a video software program. I can do that. There's things I'd forgotten that I can do things. And this vlogging, this editing thing is reminding me that I can do things, and I can do them. Whether I do them well or whether I do them poorly, it doesn't matter. It's the doing that matters. And speaking of doing, oh my God, I just saw how long I've been talking for. This isn't even the first section of this video. It is definitely time to go and do something, to go and do some walking with my daughter, who's been waiting very patiently for me. My lunch is digested enough that I feel comfortable walking now. And I need to go and unpack some of all this stuff that I've been talking about off camera, because that's enough for now. And I will catch you guys later. Thanks for listening if you did. If not, yay me for figuring stuff out.